The farmer picked up a copper pot. He used it to store cow's milk. As a result, cow's milk was continuously flowing like a small river. This black man dug a hole in his own garden. He did his best to dig. Suddenly he discovered the copper pot. The copper pot looked so beautiful. So he washed it to store cow's milk. After that, he continued to dig. But after a while, suddenly there was a small stream of milk flowing to his feet. What's going on? The black man looked up. He discovered that the milk was continuously flowing from the copper pot. It turned out to be a magic pot. When putting something in it, it would also create something like that, and continuously created those things. It only stopped when the pot was turned upside down. Therefore, the black man became the richest man in the village by selling milk. Because of his wealth, many people were jealous of him. One night, there were two thieves breaking into his house. They stole the magic pot. After hearing the noise, the servants immediately gave chase. While the two sides were fighting, the copper pot was dropped into the fast-flowing river. That copper pot was pushed in all directions, no one knew where it went. Meanwhile, this boy was riding his bike on the street. He hit a watermelon rind and fell. So all the eggs fell to the ground and broke. Because the boy was afraid that his boss would deduct his salary, he sobbed. His crying caught the attention of a girl walking on the street. After knowing the reason, she didn't hesitate to give the boy money. The people around were also enthusiastic to help the boy. After a while, this boy received an amount equal to his 3 months' salary. The boy felt the warmth from everyone, then he slowly left. When coming to an alley with no people, he gave all his salary to a woman. And it turned out to be the girl walking on the street. She was Tara. The two of them were a group of scammers. This boy had also frequently collaborated with this group of scammers. And the woman sitting next to them named Martha was also a member of this scam group. Martha had a loyal fan. It was the bald guy who repaired cars. He confessed his love to Martha many times. However, Martha never once agreed. In one scam, Tara and Martha pretended to be skilled magicians. They asked to get into a bearded guy's car. This guy's family was very rich. But in business, they had to face a very strong opponent. Therefore, this guy asked Martha to help him find a way. He wanted to find a way to teach his opponent a lesson, but left no trace. "Take a deep breath from this blade of grass," Martha said. "Then slowly exhale. After that, your thoughts will come true." Unexpectedly, these people really believed Martha. It wasn't until they woke up that they realized they had just been drugged. Not only the car was robbed, but their clothes were also taken off. They had to use forest leaves to cover themselves to go home. After doing this big scam, Martha and Tara immediately went to the cinema to enjoy. Because this man was causing trouble. So Tara and Martha directly hit him on the head. As a result, they were taken to the police station. As soon as they entered, they saw someone bullying an elderly woman. Tara couldn't take it anymore, so she beat this big sister badly. This elderly woman was extremely grateful to Tara. She then shared her secret story with Tara and Martha. One day, when she was washing dishes by the river, she accidentally picked up a copper pot. She worked as a rice cake seller, so she cleaned the pot to hold the rice cakes. Unexpectedly, she discovered that the number of cakes in that pot was constantly increasing. So she knew the magic of the pot. Then she accidentally dropped a coin in it. As a result, countless coins appeared, which made her very happy. After that, she went to the bank to deposit money, but unexpectedly she was taken to prison. It turned out that pot could cause many tragedies. That pot could only create objects that looked like their originals. So the amount of money she sent was exactly the same. However, the code of each coin was also the same. That made the bank employees confused. Because they didn't know where the money came from. They suspected she had taken them illegally, so they put her in prison. Before leaving home, she buried the pot in the cowshed. Knowing that there was such a treasure, Martha and Tara started to get greedy. After being released from prison, they went to the cowshed under the guidance of the old woman. At this moment, there was a cow eating grass inside. This cow was very fierce. It was like a scary beast. Meanwhile, the copper pot was buried 3 meters deep in the cowshed. Would they choose life or money? Let's see how they choose. And something unexpected happened. The owner of the cow was the bearded guy they used to scam. In the past, they scammed all of his money. For fear of being discovered, they had to leave. When seeing Martha and Tara, this bearded guy felt like they looked familiar. So he immediately became suspicious. Tara rushed towards the car and clung to the door of the car. She quickly knocked down a few people. Meanwhile, Martha also repeatedly hit the other men. And no one could beat them. Just like that, they once again stole the bearded guy's car. They went to the bald guy's auto repair shop. And Tara lured him to get that bull for Martha. And the bald guy volunteered to do everything for the person he liked. That night, he used an anesthetic sniper rifle. And drove a colorful car in front of them. He proposed to Martha, which touched Martha very much, and she almost agreed. The bald guy not only brought the bull, but also the bearded guy. However, Martha frankly said, actually, she didn't want this bull. After that, Martha and Tara quickly went to the cowshed, because they still wanted to get the pot. But the bald guy thought he did wrong with Martha's request. So he released the cow and the bearded guy to go back to the cowshed. Because of that, their plan didn't work out. After that, they went on to come up with a second plan. They started calling the bearded guy, and said they had indecent pictures of him. Security fee was 2,000 rupees per second. If he didn't hurry to the temple, they would spread those pictures. For fear of sensitive photos being revealed, he immediately prepared to go to the temple. Meanwhile, Martha and Tara also pretended to be police, and went to the bearded guy's house to check. Although they were only two people, they seemed so eloquent. But unexpectedly at this moment, there was a real policewoman sitting in front of them. But Martha was extremely quick-witted. She said her younger sister had mental retardation. Since childhood, her younger sister had considered her as an idol. So she pretended to be a police officer just to make her sister happy. And she also hoped that her sister could receive a blessing from the policewoman. This policewoman seemed to be fierce. But she was actually a very honest and kind person. She was very touched after hearing what Martha said. So she made a blessing for Martha's sister. Finally, Martha and Tara were lucky to escape. The two of them knew their identities were revealed. So it was very difficult for them to steal that copper pot. So they decided to find this shaggy-haired man to support them. At this time, he was very depressed. Actually, before that he was a pretty handsome guy. He had always dreamed of becoming an actor. But one day, he accidentally said harsh words. So he got revenge by others and became so ugly. After being ugly, he couldn't accept the truth, so he tried to commit suicide many times. However, he didn't succeed. Knowing that, Martha and Tara immediately took advantage of the opportunity. The three of them began to discuss the plan. We will make an explosion at the bearded guy's house, Martha and Tara said. Just like that, we will get the copper pot and have a lot of money. After that, it's easy for you to be handsome. After thinking for a while, he also agreed. Just like that, he joined the scam group. The next day, he went to the bearded guy's house, and wanted to apply for a job taking care of a bull. The cow was extremely fierce, and he was so scared that he wanted to run away. However, Tara was always calling to urge him, and advised him to think about his future. At this point, he mustered all his courage. This made the bull scared, and it immediately stopped in front of him. It obeyed his command and immediately returned to the cowshed. He was the first one who was able to train this bull, so he was hired by the bearded guy to work. Martha and Tara thought that they were about to get the magic pot they wanted. But unfortunately, they were finally discovered. And they were chased. They eventually reached a bridge. They were surrounded on both sides. They were helpless to hold the magic pot and jump into the river. Although the river water was flowing very fast, both of them were lucky to escape. However, after going through this, they both didn't want to live a life of stealing anymore. They used that magic pot in order to help the poor around them. As for the shaggy-haired man, he was no longer self-conscious about his appearance, and became a star in the eyes of many people. Although the bald guy didn't get Martha's love, at this time, he had a lot of money. And he was still dating this policewoman. If you had such a pot, what would you put in it? The movie comes here. Let's like, share and follow our fan page. See you on the next movies.